Hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today because I'm going to teach you one of the best ways to break through depression. Now, I came up with this literally in the late 1990s. So this system is called the best friend strategy. Now, a lot of people talk about depression out there and they act like it's some mystical, magical thing that they're pulling out of the ether and it's this existential crisis and blah, 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 blah. Depression comes down basically to one thing and one thing only. And it's amazingly simple. It's something called metacognition. Metacognition means that you think about your thinking. Humans are the only animal that does this. You ever see a dog walking around kind of depressed? Maybe a monkey that sees a banana and says, just too depressed to eat it. Maybe an ant just sitting there. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm too tired to get out of bed. You don't see this with any animal, any insect, any bird, any fish, any fowl. You ever see like a really depressed goldfish says, I'm just going to roll over. If you see one that's rolled over, it's dead. Sorry, I had to go there. This doesn't happen to any other animal, any other species except human, because no other species sits around thinking about their thinking. A squirrel doesn't, sit there in their fluffy fur coat and say, oh my God, does this make me look fat? No. Oh, I wonder if there's going to be enough nuts and what am I going to do when I'm old in retirement and all these types of things. Squirrel doesn't worry about any of that. So here's one recommendation. Don't be dumber than a squirrel. Here's why the squirrel doesn't have any issues. They don't think. They don't think in thoughts, in sentences, in images. They go on impulses and instinct, and they simply take action. They don't have the words to have the words to screw themselves over and get depressed about things. They can't worry about things. They can't talk to themselves about things. If you get really quiet alone in a room by yourself and just listen, you're going to hear a voice in your head that cannot shut up. You know what that voice is? It's the neurotic voice of you, your inner voice. It's not really you, but it's a talking voice in the back of your head. It's you running a constant commentary on everything and anything around you, anything you can imagine. It draws everything in, and this damn voice cannot shut up. When you're trying to do mindfulness meditation, what are you doing? You're trying to think about one thing that's insignificant, like think only pen. And then you relax because you're not sitting there worried about your relationships and am I a good person and what's the government going to do and is my future okay? Do I have enough money for retirement? You're not worried about all these things. You're not thinking about are my kids safe? None of that. You're thinking only pen. And then all of a sudden, all your worries, all your fears, all your anxieties, they go away because you have to think about your depression in a constant stream of thought. And the minute you stop constantly thinking about your depression, you think about something else, like you hear a sudden noise and you turn around and you'll realize your depression instantly went away. You refocused on something else. You tried to figure out what it was. Your thoughts were based on that. And you might be nervous or fearful or curious what this noise is, but you're no longer depressed. And then when you figure out, dog knocked something off the counter, it's okay. And you go, let me go back to figuring out how my life is crap. And let's talk some more about that internally in my head. And then the depression ensues again. You have to think about your depression in a constant stream or it goes away. And what is your favorite thing to do when you're talking to you about you that would cause depression? Well, you would have to decide that you are no good. And that I'm going to sit here as your internal voice and I am going to crap on you like a stream of conscience. Either you're no damn good or I don't like the way you do things or you're going to fail. It's this constant inner critic. And if I ain't talking about you, I'm making you feel bad about something else. Oh, geez, look what the politicians are doing. They're going to destroy everything. All my hard work's going to be ruined. Society's going to go to hell in a handbasket. And on and on and on. It's usually 95% about you and then 5% about everything else. But it's a stream of crap. Once you stop that stream, you feel better. And that's what the best friend strategy is all about. Kind of in a nutshell, it's all about you instead of treating yourself with total disrespect. I mean, if I were your inner critic, but I was a person outside of you, and I said the things to you that your inner critic says to you, you would probably grab me about the throat, or maybe just use one hand so you could slap me about the head and face, because I probably deserve it, because I'm being so damn negative. You would literally try to choke me out. Because I'm saying things like, you're no damn good and everything you do is screwed up and I can't believe you did this and you're such a stupid SOB, which stands for sweet old boy or sweet old broad. You know, you're terrible and you're no good and people don't like you and, you know, you're lazy. You know, you should have gone to the gym today, or you went to the gym and you worked out for 2 hours, but it should have been 2.5. What's wrong with you? You know, you got to learn how to put in the extra effort, blah, 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 blah. This thing will not shut up. You want to choke it out and slap it. Here's one way you can do that without getting violent. Use the best friend strategy. Instead of letting your inner voice be your best enemy, you got to start talking to you like you're your own best friend. When you start thinking, geez, I don't know if I can do this, think what you would tell your best friend if they said, geez, I don't know if I think I can do this. You'd say, of course you can do that. Absolutely you can do that. But what if I fail? Well, if you fail, then you start over again more intelligently. And you just do it again, do it again, do it again. You know, you get up one more time, then you got knocked down. That's fine. You would always make everything that was negative in your mind, that something your friend said to you, you would jump in and you would say, no, it's more like this. You got to start treating yourself more positively, with more respect, if nothing else, and treat yourself like you're your own best friend. So, as you hear the internal dialogue, anytime you hear anything negative, I want you to jump in as if your own best friend and say, no, 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 it's more like this, and don't worry about that. It's going to be like this. You say, well, I'm worried about retirement. Say, well, start a retirement plan. Put 10% of your income on auto pay, and then don't die. And if you do that, you'll retire in the top 10% of the country. See, now you don't have to worry about it anymore. Good friend would tell you that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description so you can go ahead and get the full written copy, free download, nothing to buy. That's my resource. I want you to have it and start using this, and then go ahead and share that best friend article with somebody else. But this is literally the number one way that you can start nailing down your depression. It's not 100% of it. No one technique will be. But man, this might knock down like 80% of your depression. All you got to do is start doing it, practice it, get better at it, notice it like I said, and then just continue to do it. And you'll notice, especially when you get in the really bad times, this just gets even more powerful. I don't want you to have to go through your life with depression. I mean, that's why I do these videos. I do these videos for free. I don't make a penny off this channel. I want to make sure that you're okay. I'm worried there's too many people out there with anxiety and depression and addictions and low self-confidence. I said, why can't I just give all these resources out for free? Well, that's what I'm doing. This is my gift to you. I want to make sure that you're okay. Now, as an added bonus, go down through my playlist. You'll probably find some more stuff on depression. I'm going to do multiple videos on depression in the future because it is a common cold of mental health. But you're also going to find ones on anxiety. And the interesting thing is, there's what's called co-occurrence. If somebody has anxiety, 75% of the time, they also have depression. You know why? Anxiety and depression work exactly the same way. They use the same system. They just put in a different fuel. One puts in negativity and the other one puts in worry. But the system itself by which you get depressed and by which you get anxious, they're identical. And that's why 75% of the time, when you get one, you're going to put that second fuel in, and congratulations, and now you get 2 mental health disorders. Don't worry about it. It's not really a mental health disorder. What's happening is you are being human. And humans always have this negative voice in their head The people that listen to it more, they get more depressed. And then, of course, it becomes this downward spiral. Same thing for the people that get anxious. They start worrying a little bit like every human alive does. But then they start working the system a little bit harder, and it creates a negative spiral, and it sucks them in like a black hole. It is so common. I forget what the numbers are. It's something like 25% of people have anxiety, and another 15 or 20% have depression as well. And by the time you get done with those two, cripes is practically half the population, right? It's an awful lot of people. I think if you put anxiety and depression together, because they co-occur, it'd be around 35% of the population, or every third person you see walking down the street, they would literally be diagnosable with a mental health disorder called anxiety or depression. And of course, there's different kinds because we love to parse things and bill. I was a therapist for many, many years. I trained therapists for many years. I got 2 teaching awards at university for what? Training therapists. I ran several mental health facilities. I was a licensed mental health counselor in New Hampshire. I was a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. I run Advanced Ideas, one of the biggest online education companies in America, and nationally and internationally. I've had over 2 million students. Today, I want to help you. I want to make sure that you're okay and you have all the tools you need. So grab that article in the link below. It's going to give you a very detailed explanation of exactly how to use this system. Go down through my playlist, start looking for those anxiety ones, and just switch out the word anxiety for depression, and you'll gain some new techniques. My name is Professor Paul, and I'll see you in my very next training.